Bloomies, we have an amazing guest with us, Tammy.
Hello.
Tammy, hi. How are you?
I'm doing well. Happy to be here.
Thank you. Thank you. I was on your podcast
Yes,
and
feels
that was a great
good.
time. You were a very chill vibe. So a little bit, I am all about color theory and like what the meanings of colors and things mean. So even getting ready for this recording, I was just like, I need like neutral, calming tone. I was very intentional. I could have gone with like a lighter seafoam green shirt because I feel like that matches your vibe closer because you're a yogi.
Yes,
You're a
yes.
yoga teacher. You're a therapist. I don't want to miss out on a thing. So tell the Bloomies a little bit about you.
Oh gosh. Okay. Yeah. Main things about me. Yeah, I'm a mental health therapist. I've been a licensed mental health therapist for over 10 years now. And then as Chris mentioned, I'm also a yoga teacher. I specialize in trauma and PTSD, and I'm an introvert. I'm a podcaster as well. My podcast is called Honest Conversations. I do a lot of things.
You do a lot.
I can't even also a rental property owner. Yeah, I do a lot of things.
And I would add a little bit of a socialite, even though you're an introvert. Because I too am an introvert, but I also tap into like if there's a really good vibe for an event, I'm gonna be there.
Yeah.
Especially because you go with like we have a couple of mutual friends who I feel like I know that I met you from going to a Black Health Commission meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got acquainted from there and then followed a lot of the same people. And then we started popping up and bumping into each other at different events. And then I've gone to a few of your yoga classes, which I'm so glad that you do. And I know you have one coming up on the Thursday.
Yeah.
I need to buy my ticket because I am so stiff, girl. I am struggling. I'm over here like in a half crisscross applesauce trying to stretch out my hip, child.
Yeah.
But yeah, like definitely the events where the vibes are going to be right and you're going to have the right people there makes a difference. You also are part of the runners club, right?
Yeah, so grit running around kind of in the earlier stages, I was running with them, and definitely check for anybody who's in Central Florida, Orlando area. Grit running Orlando, great group promoting, fitness, health in the community, and they do runs on Saturdays and Mondays. But yes, I do run with them. As of recently, I haven't been coming out as much because I've been doing my own runs because I'm training for 5K. So
awesome.
Space with my running. But yeah, I'll definitely pop back out eventually.
And I love the content that you post. Obviously, you're more than that, but I love how we just literally get a sneak peek of your day. Like you are an early bird.
Yeah.
You start off with some form of stretching, yoga, meditation. Then I see you outside a lot, like running, riding bikes, rollerblading. You are active, honey. But I just love that you're just out in nature. It looks very grounding. Is that on purpose? Is that one of your favorite forms of self-care?
Yeah, I absolutely love work. I love movement and I love being outside. But I don't like to, even though I will go to the gym, I prefer to work out outdoors. I like to find a nice nature trail where there's a lot of greenery, trees. And yeah, it's very intentional and it's more like a meditation for me. And I just kind of get lost. Like if I'm running on a trail and I just have my headphones in, I might be listening to an audiobook or music, whatever. And it's just, I can't even describe the experience. It's like I'm just lost in the moment. And that's, for me, meditation is movement for me. Some people meditate by just, being still.
Mm-hmm.
Me, movement, working out, and then just being totally tapped into whatever's happening within me in that moment is like my form of meditation.
Has that always been your practice? Or is it something you more recent, like since going through school to be a licensed therapist? Like, have you developed that from there?
I think it has always been a thing for movement has always been a thing for me since I was a little kid. Like I was always involved in dance and sports growing up, and that was like my voice. I was a very quiet kid growing up. And like put me on the dance floor, or I get on the dance team and I perform, and then people are like, "Whoa, where's this girl?
Yeah.
Same girl." like my way of like expression is movement. But I think it became more of a less of a like competitive performative thing and
Mm,
more of like a therapeutic thing. Yeah, as I got older. Yes.
that's awesome. And I love seeing that your partner does that with you as well.
Yeah.
Like he's a very active guy and you guys seem to listen. I was in a space with them very limited and the energy is just such a calming vibe. You guys are definitely like you compliment each other. Like how did you meet him?
So we actually first met on a dating app.
Really? Girl, teach me the ways because it's ghetto out here in these streets. I think he was the last of the good batch, honestly. No shade to whoever's
Yeah.
listening.
It's hard. Dating app, that could be a whole podcast episode in itself. But
And we just might, child. Part two. Chris
right.
and Tammy, the dating app woes.
Oh, I have a lot to say about the dating apps. Yeah, it's several years ago, back in I think 2016, 2017 was when we first connected. And yeah, dating app, can't remember what app it was. You know, there's so many.
Hmm.
And then we went on a few dates. We really vibed. Like, but at the time, the interesting thing is at the time, we didn't work out. You know, we wanted different things at the time.
Mm,
And so, but it was a very like mature separation. It was, you know, we went on a few dates. I actually had met his brother. Things were kind of leading to that more like getting serious. And then we had a conversation and it was just like, okay, we're not at where we are in our life right now. We're not wanting the same things.
mm.
Like, okay, all right, cool. Separate, went about our lives. And then we reconnected in 2 years. Yeah, almost 2 years now.
It's crazy how time flies, right? You got to be
Yeah.
like, dang.
You're like, what was that? And it was more like just like a DM, like, hey, how you been? And then that turned into a phone conversation. Then that turned into, and he was living out of state at the time
Okay.
in Georgia. So then as soon as I know it, I'm buying a plane ticket to go visit him in Georgia. And then here we are.
So did you guys stay connected between that time apart? Not
Nah.
even on socials.
Well, we were on each other's social media, but we weren't like interacting.
Interacting, yeah, but there was no like, well, we're done, so you're blocked
Right. It
or
was
unfollowing each other because it was no bad blood. It was just
right.
like the feelings are there, but we just want different things at the time. So with all, peace and blessings to you. Continue on.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow. So is this your first like serious relationship? Like what is your dating history like if you don't mind sharing?
Yeah. So no, this is not my first serious relationship. This is my most serious relationship, but not my first serious relationship. So
Okay, I get it. I'm picking it up.
so I had a similar experience to you where growing up, so I'm thinking back elementary, middle school, high school, where it was a lot of like crushes
Mm-hmm.
and little like flings, but never anything that was like serious. And that used to like, but I remember like just wanting that so bad.
Yeah.
I don't even know. Have you seen the new show Forever on Netflix?
No, so apparently Netflix is having a new wave because all the girls are talking about different shows on there.
Well, you got to see it. It's so
Okay.
good. But it's about this Black couple and kind of just going through their like high school dating experience. But anyway, for anyone who's seen the show, that was how I envisioned my young high school relationship, like having this cute boyfriend and we're doing these cute things and we're serious. But I never had that. It was just a lot of the, like you said, the crushes, the flings, and then, but nothing that rolled into anything serious. I remember like having guys that I called boyfriend, but then when I look back and I'm like, was he really my boyfriend? Like, what were we? What?
Dating was so weird. We were just a bunch of love obsessed puppies, just all trying to be around each other. We all had high school, like even middle school, like novellas in our head, child.
Yes. It was such a like high pressure day. Cause if you were walking around school, and you didn't have the balloon and
Yeah.
the whatever, it was like, okay, I guess nobody likes me.
And then, or you would have like friends who'd be like, well, I got you something, girl.
Right.
Or to get like a candy gram, because that was always the thing was to have it delivered during, what was it, like first or
The
second
class,
period? It was just like,
yeah,
oh my God, childish.
yeah, yeah. But I didn't have my first serious relationship like boyfriend, girlfriend, it's official, meeting family type of relationship until my freshman year of college.
Sure.
And yeah, and it was a long distance relationship. He was living in Tampa or St. Petersburg more specifically. And then I was here in, Orlando. We were going to school. And yeah, that was my first like serious relationship. And it was really, and it was good. It was like love. That was like the first person that I was like,
Aw.
I love this person. It ended very badly, but
How did you guys meet?
yeah. So we met his friend, one of his best friends, was going to school at UCF.
Okay.
And we met at a party or some event. It was either a club event or a party or something. Something was going on. So it was and I remember it like it was a group of them, and that it was a club event. And some song came on, and I guess it was some song that was popular in St. Pete, and there was some dance that they would do to it, and we just see this group of guys doing this dance. And so me and my best friend, whatever girls we were with, we were just like, who are these guys? So we ended up started talking to them, and then after the club went to his friend who went to UCL, we went to his dorm. And so it was just a group of us just hanging out. And then me and him, we were like the only ones just kind of like, okay.
Vibing a little bit.
Well, we were kind of like, this is whack. And like, we both ended up just going outside. And then we just had this awesome, amazing conversation outside. And then that's where it started. Like, we exchanged numbers. And then we were just inseparable after that, like talking on the phone every day. And then we ended up, I went to go take that drive to St. Pete, hang out with him. And then it just became our relationship. And it was just a back and forth, like every weekend, going to see each other, meeting family. And yeah, it was.
Wow. How long were you guys together?
We were together for I want to say like a year and a half. And which now looking back, I'm like, that was nothing. But at the time,
I mean, it was everything at the time.
Right.
Like the way you're saying it, it sounds like a sitcom.
Yeah.
I'm just like, it feels like a grown-ish like episode. I'm just like, oh, that's so cute. They met on campus at a party and they vibed, and he was so cute. Puppy love. Driving to go see each other.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, girl. Listen, I'm in Orlando, and driving to Winter Park some days, I'd be like, oh, girl. And you were driving from East Orlando to St. Pete.
Well, I'm on the west side of Orlando.
Okay, so a little bit. You cut about 45 minutes.
Yeah.
But geez, yeah. Oh man. Okay.
Yeah.
And you said that didn't end well.
No, it didn't. Yeah. Long story short, he cheated on me. Like, he was dating or whatever. I don't know exactly how things happened. I just know all of a sudden there's this girl that is his friend, like a sister. And you know how that goes. And you're like, well, where was this sister when we first started? Like, you just, what? When
all of a sudden we got family.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then eventually you find out there's more going on.
No.
That was the end of that. Yeah.
Well, at least you had that experience. What would you say was your biggest takeaway, like reflecting back on that relationship and someone who was a late bloomer in that way? What foundations of dating or even things about yourself that you've learned from that experience?
Yeah, so that relationship affected the way that I viewed relationships, like moving forward. And so there was a lot of repairing that had to happen after that experience, because I felt very betrayed. I felt like, okay, was I not like good enough for you to, not cheat on me? So things that I learned from that was you have to love yourself. Like, it's a critical part of dating and relationships is you have to love yourself first. And I realized the person that I was in that relationship was not confident. I was not confident in myself. And then I also placed so much stock into that relationship. Like, I thought me and that person were going to be together forever. And of course, like when you're young and dating, that's what you think you're going to be with that person. Going to get married and blah, blah, blah. But then I guess I realized that like nothing is permanent. Like, no matter how good it is, there's always a possibility that it can end. And I learned to be okay with that, that idea. But I think more of the lessons was about me rebuilding like myself and being more confident in myself. There was a lot of things going on in that relationship that I should not had tolerated. That were not as apparent to me at the time, but growing up and maturing and looking back, he had a lot of inappropriate behavior. He was a very flirtatious person, very extroverted personality. And I realized that a lot of times I felt uncomfortable with the way that he would interact with other people, particularly other girls. And at the time, he would make it out to be like, "Oh, well, you're just insecure." Being an adult looking back, I was like, "No, no, you were being inappropriate. Like that was not a respectful thing to do for someone that was in a relationship." So there were the red flags
Yeah.
there, but I just didn't see them at the time. So it was a lot of recognizing, like, okay, if I get in a relationship in the future, these are the things that I know better now, not to tolerate things like that.
So what was your approach after that relationship?
Yeah, it was a lot of serial dating, I would say. I would describe it more as serial dating. Yeah.
Tree.
So it was a lot of like stints of meeting a person. Maybe we're dating for a few months. We're not like official. Like we're exclusive, but we're not like official.
What
Then
does making it official mean?
yeah, official is like I'm actually calling you my boyfriend.
Oh, okay.
So what I consider like we're exclusive is we're dating, we're not dating other people. We're only
Okay.
dating each other, and we're still, on that path to figuring out like, do we want to be, boyfriend, girlfriend? What are we doing? Like, and that I feel like that was like a lot of my experience over the years was just
Okay.
talking to or exclusively dating people for periods of time. We stop talking. I talk to somebody else. Maybe I go back to talking to, like, it was all
Yeah.
that. And then I
A
had,
lot of exploring and figuring things out.
yeah. And then I had a few constants, like guys that I've known for a long time and we dated. We're very comfortable with each other and they just float. They're just there. Right.
Yeah.
And then I date somebody else. We stop talking. Hit them up. Hey, what's up? All right, come back in the picture. Like a lot of floaters.
Okay. Was that more because of the space that you were in at that time? And so, or was that from like maybe any fears from your previous relationship that kind of hindered you from getting to because for me, if we're talking or we're exclusive for a couple months, I'm like, we go together. But that's me because I'd be like, meet me at the altar and I'm gonna be in my white dress because we ain't getting no younger. We might as well do this. Like we go together real bad. That's me.
Nah, I don't, this is something that I've reflected on a lot. And I'm still trying to like figure out like, okay, well, what was that about? Like, was that avoidance? Was that fears? It could be a lot of factors. It was convenient for me because going through undergrad and then going to grad school, I've always been a very busy person. And it was convenient to have flings or floaters or these kind of like, we're dating, but we're not really dating. Like, what are we doing? And I can call you if I want to spend time with you. I want to have someone. I want to feel the excitement
Yeah, the
of
companionship.
companionship.
Yeah.
Right. It's convenient. And then when I want to focus in on what I'm doing, focusing on my work and getting things done, I don't have this person that I have to be obligated to give my time and attention to because, man.
We just checking in. Okay. We just vibing when we vibe. Like,
right. And then there was this excitement of just being able to be this single young person and just date. And yeah, there was just an exciting part to that. I wanted I don't get me wrong, I wanted serious relationships, but it just never my little stints of dating just never seemed to turn into that.
Okay.
It never seemed to become this like exclusive thing for whatever reason.
Yeah. I like that because like some people could say that's like you were just playing around, you were just doing whatever, but for me what I pick up is like there's a freedom in the choice.
Yeah.
And as somebody who freedom is the highest, is the pinnacle for me. I would love to be in a committed relationship and be with someone, but there has to be freedom. There has to be
Mhm.
leeway in that.
Yeah.
And then also you're getting to know different personalities. Like you've had your first real relationship, you've gone through some things, you picked up some things
Right.
that you now like that you didn't think you would like before. Did you develop a type? Did you
Mhm.
always have a type, or did that kind of change while you were dating?
Yeah, yes. So, yes, definitely had a time. Looking back at my dating patterns,
Uh-huh.
I always seem to be drawn to artists, like whether that's like dancers, musicians,
Yeah.
or athletes. So a lot of guys I dated like
It
played
makes
sports
sense
in
because you're
college.
always you play like you dancing is a sport, honey.
Right.
Like you're used to that regimen, that focus, that drive, like being
Being
active,
active. Yes.
the lifestyle.
Yeah. That was a big drawing point for me. So, and then I also had a pattern of dating funny guys, like
Okay.
class clowns, humor. Even though like I don't consider myself like I'm not a funny person, but I always were drawn to guys that were very humorous. And that was like
Mhm.
my first love, first serious relationship, like goofy humor
Sounds like it.
guy.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, that was always my pattern. But then a lot of those personalities, the musicians, artists, are very known for not being relationship type
Yeah.
people. They're a vibe. Like
Mhm.
you'll have the time of your life with them, but they're not, at the end of the day, they're not trying to lock down. And
No.
their first love is always going to be their art.
Yeah.
And so it was a weird dynamic where it's like, I love this, the vibe is so strong. Like I'm so attracted to vibes. But then they weren't fulfilling the part of me that wanted the stability and being grounded and like, all right,
Mhm.
what are we doing? When are we going to be serious? When are we going to lock this down? Like they're not going to do that. So yeah, that was my type, my pattern.
It's I feel like I am talking to myself. I too, as a creative, and did you watch Girlfriends?
Yes, I did.
So I don't know. I always reference this couple because this character is always she's the most toxic. But Lynn,
Yes.
when she dated Savat, I was like, oh my God, where is my Savat? Like he's a poet.
Right.
He wasn't even all about the physical. He was more about like just the intimacy and how we can be like that was me. I was like, "Oh, I paint and I write poetry. And my perfect person is an artist, maybe a musician.
Mhm.
Like Love Jones, like everything was going through my head, girl. I was like, he's gonna have his creative process while I'm in the studio with my creative process. And then maybe we'll collaborate on work. And oh my God, he understands me. And then I did date an artist. And the problem is when it's good, it's good.
Yes.
But then when we recluse and go into our creative spaces to tap in, we forget about each other because you just need that focus to work on that art piece or whatever it is. But then every so often you'll check and be like, oh, hey, how you been? But because you get into that zone and you usually will tune out the rest of the world, that includes your partner as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't until, he's been consistent with it. And then when I would take like my breaks from it, I was just like, huh. So
Yeah.
you're not gonna call me. You're not gonna check about me. You working. So like you get to see what that looks like because you're experiencing it, even though people around you have been like, girl, when you be in your zone, you just don't call about it. You don't text. You
Right.
might send a little DM or a ha ha at my post, but where you been at? But because you met that equal, so to
Right.
speak, and you're like, they get it. Oh my God, this makes the most sense and blah blah blah. So then I was just like, oh, I don't like this. And I've tried so hard to like force it to make me
Right.
like, no, but remember the vision. The vision was we just gonna be art freaks together. And it's perfect because it's two different mediums and we can learn and grow from each other. Oh my God. So even having to like reflect and be like, oh my God. So what do you do with like those dream relationships deferred?
Yeah.
How do you deal with that with the ideal picture that you created, whether from the influence of media or even
Mhm.
from your family? You've experienced it yourself or just a taste of it. And you're like, I
Yeah.
don't,
Yeah.
what do I do now?
It's like this It's a
It's
disappointment.
very disappointing.
Picture you have this picture in your mind of like, what, this should be work. This should be perfect. And it's
Yes,
not.
my God. It's a different type of heartbreak.
Yeah.
Because we were not exclusive in that way, I can't say I've experienced a heartbreak romantically, nor have I really experienced like being in love.
Mm-hmm.
But the heartbreak from the disappointment of the vision
Yeah. Yeah.
is different because it makes you question yourself
Mm-hmm.
and then all the things that you've believed and hyped up. So now it's like, man,
Yeah.
what is the truth? Like now you're questioning everything.
Right.
Oh, girl, nobody talks about the heartbreak of disappointment.
Yeah. And dating is full of disappointment.
Jeez. And I'm one of those that if I see somebody that I like or your energy is fire, I'll approach you.
Mm.
I don't need to wait, but I do appreciate the chase.
Yeah.
Cause I'll dip out. Cause I don't want to keep like, oh, it's only me. Oh no. We're
Right.
not doing that. Like what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
And my disconnect is the dating app because I miss traditional dating of going out and being in spaces, and that's who you really like you learn a lot from just being in someone's energy
Yeah.
and seeing how they move throughout a room and seeing if that's something that you would be interested in.
Right.
There's so much that is taken away because of online dating. And this is how we meet now. Like kind of on somebody's social media, maybe different because even if they curate their feed, but you kind of see a bit more personality in their stories or even in their close friends. So like you kind of get closer to, oh, this is how you present yourself like in public.
Right.
But the profile, people just kind of create an archetype of who they are as a dater. Hi, I am Chris, and I am a professional, and I do these things. And of course, I love running and going to the beach. And yeah, you're just like, what sounds good to
Yeah.
get the most likes? I'm gonna put up this picture because this is when the lighting was hitting me best.
Mhm.
And then I need to show a picture of me doing something fun. Like the
Right.
science and the curation that has to come into creating this whole thing.
Yeah.
And then once you start messaging, for me, it's the messaging.
Mm-hmm.
Because now with these apps, you know, they allow the woman to connect first
Yeah.
if you're interested. I appreciate that. But then the ones that like me, I'm like, no, did you really think? Okay, I'm glad you have confidence. It is important. But what is it about me that you thought she gonna like that? Or like, what is your response? Like, if you're only talking about the physical, it's a big turnoff for me.
Yeah.
Hey, sexy. Hey, this.
Right.
Ooh, if you don't get out of here.
I mean, it's been a while since I've been on the dating apps, but for me, it's a hate love relationship. I appreciate the let's get to the point. Like,
Yes.
like I like the profiles because then I get a quick summary of, okay,
Oh, yeah.
this is somewhat of like who you are. And then
Yeah.
I can kind of compare it to what it is that I'm actually looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do like that aspect of it. Yes, the other side of that is people are presenting what they think is going to attract a person a lot of the times. Every now and then you'll get the person who has a very like genuine profile that's very much aligned with actually who they are as a person. But I like the quick, let's get to the point. And hey, you like me? Like, okay, cool. Let's schedule something. And to me, I try to look at dating apps as this is just another medium. It's another medium to meet
This is
people.
just like a tool. Yeah.
Right. It's a tool. And you leave it at that. You don't make it I'm going to stay in the apps. Like,
Yeah.
I see a person, cool. Do you want to phone conversation? I mean, make sure there's nothing weird about you. Let's meet in a public setting. Like I try to get it to let's meet, let's see if there's a vibe, a connection here, and go from there. Like this is just another way to connect with people. And a lot of times you will connect with people that you may have never crossed paths with, that you may have never in your life crossed paths with in any other way. So it's just another way to expand your dating horizon.
So when you were going through your floating dating phase, I like calling it that. The floating phase. It sounds really cute. I love that over serial dating. So we're going to reframe. During your floating phase, you said there was a mixture of like homeboys or whatever, or like people that you knew that you'd probably date, or did it start off from the apps?
It was a mixture of meeting people from dating apps. It was also just people that I had connected with on social media, like Instagram,
Okay.
like the DM situation. And then it was also me just going out and
Yeah.
meeting people. So a mixture. Right.
So when you would go through the apps,
Mhm.
what were the key things that you were looking for? Because for me, if I see a lot of sunglasses pics, why
Right.
are you hiding your eyes? Your
Right.
eyes are the window to the soul.
Yeah. For me, first it was, of course, am I attracted to this person?
Hmm.
And then some type of sign of like, do you care about your health and wellness? Do you a question or something in your bio that indicates that you
Lead a healthy lifestyle
right,
or take care of yourself.
exactly. And then I would also look for like, all right, well, what are you doing with your life? Do you have a profession? Did you go to college? Education is something that I do value.
Hmm.
Those are things I look for. So yeah, looking for things like that. That you seem like you lead a very drama-free life. You have some type of career focus going on. You got some stability. Stability is what I'm looking
Okay.
for. Signs of stability. You care about yourself, care about your life, and you're attractive. And those are the things I initially look for to even want to
Connect.
have a yeah, to connect. And then I can find out the rest from there.
How did you create? Do you have non-negotiables? I'm sure you do, but how
Yeah.
did you already have some before even dating, and have they stayed consistent, or did you create new ones?
Say I've had some pretty solid foundational non-negotiables, and then as I
Got more
dated and
experience?
right, the other things became more apparent to me. But my main non-negotiables, one is of course like the obvious, like if you're controlling, and actually let me take a step from that. Aside from just like blatant, like you're an abusive person, if
Hmm.
you have issues controlling your emotions, that's like a
Mm,
quick, like, no, we're not doing that. Like if you get angry very easily, you're like destroying property because you're
yeah.
upset, you're raising your
Temperamental.
voice. Yeah. If I see any indication that you don't know how to regulate your emotions, I'm not messing with it at all. I don't care. Like,
I don't care if it's sports. You can be
yeah.
very passionate about your team, and that's usually when that's exhibited. And it's
Yeah.
if you dated like athletes or whatever, like,
Uh-huh.
girl. Because if you're gonna pop off about this person missing this touchdown or whatever the sports terms are, then you're gonna flip out about any old thing, and I'm
Exactly.
not doing that.
Yeah, I don't like overly aggressive people. Other thing is like if you show me indications that you don't care about your life. Like I'm really big on people who value their life. And that could be
Mm,
something as simple as you don't wear seatbelts when you're driving.
mm,
You're using
yeah,
excessive alcohol, drugs. You don't care about your health. Things like that are
yeah,
quick turnoffs for me. And lack of confidence, like if I see indications that you don't have like a sense of self, you don't have a sense of direction in life. Not that
mm,
like it's okay if you're like, oh, I'm trying to
finding your way.
right. I'm trying to work towards something. No, that's cool because you have a direction. But if
Yeah.
you're just kind of aimlessly going about life, you're not passionate about anything, don't care about anything, that's like nah, we're not compatible. But those are some things that like culture is also big for me. Like I prefer to date someone who is of the same culture as me.
Hmm.
If you're not of the same culture, you have to have a curiosity, a desire to understand.
Hmm.
And I would expect the same,
Yeah.
expectation on myself as well. But if I see like, okay, we vibe, but there's like a divide between like you don't understand my culture, you don't understand my background, and you're also not putting in effort to understand that,
Hmm.
it's a no for me.
Yeah, I too prefer to date within my culture. There's just that's community. We already foundationally have a lot of things in common, you know, food, music, all the things. I love exploring other cultures as well, but there's something about just like, there's just a connection that you get where like something crazy happens and you just look at each other and we just kind of know what that means.
Right.
Like there's so many unspoken things that you just like, you get it. You don't have to explain it.
Exactly.
Nor am I trying to teach you. Because if you're really looking to date outside of your culture, you have to be willing to stand up for whatever goes on too. Because it's not just about that person. Is you bring your culture with you.
Right.
Because I've seen a lot of that of like, well, I don't see color. I just, you know, I love the person. And like, you see color.
Yeah.
If you're saying that, you have not done the work.
Right. Exactly.
And that was a lot of very apparent, like especially during the heights of Black Lives Matter and things like that. Of people, you can tell the allies from the just want to be affiliated folk who got real quiet or just weren't as activated as we needed you to be, especially as a romantic partner.
Exactly.
And this gets serious and we have children, like all of that impacts us.
Exactly.
It's not just a, well, you figure it out, but no, I love you. Do you though? Because you got to love the full me and all that it comes with. And I got to do the same for you as well. It's a different level of understanding.
100%.
But yeah, and there's nothing like going to carnival with your man.
Exactly.
And
And
you
then
know how to
get it. Like,
and you know how to take a wine.
right.
Yeah,
Right.
list.
That's important to me. That's very important because
My God,
if you don't understand the culture, you can't
Whew.
vibe like that. That's gonna be a problem.
As unfortunate as the pandemic and all that was, one of the best things out of it was verses. So I've started implementing that as well. Like if we start battling, sending each other songs, I know, okay, this is what you like.
Right.
Oh, okay. So then that gives, oh, this person's coming to town. You know, just different dating options. I want to see the multifaceted person that you could be. Like give me the experience.
Yeah.
But it doesn't even get that far. I'm telling you, it's so whack out here. And especially in the beginning, like we're talking, you know, you're vibing like, oh, this is cute. Like we messaging each other back and forth. I love it when I get a message like first thing in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like hit me up. It's like, oh, so you were thinking of me. That is so cute. And then go back to work. Like even if we're not messaging all day, but it's like those check-ins. It shows that you were thinking of me. There's intention there.
Right.
If you're sending me a funny meme, I love a meme and a good like GIF. So the humor, I love. So when you were saying that, I was like, absolutely. Like I would go for the funny guys. I like seeing y'all roast, don't roast me. Cause it'll go from roast to serious real fast. And then now I'm coming for blood. So I gotta reel it back for myself. But back to Taisha, who we had the episode, like I'm really considering doing the like dating yourself just for yourself, because again, like going out and just going into these spaces, you're learning more about yourself, because how can you really show up in a dating capacity if you don't even know what you like anymore, because your tastes change. The things that I liked in my teens and my 20s at 35, I'm not interested.
Yeah.
Or I'm tired.
Yeah.
Being okay with being alone. The difference between being alone and being lonely.
Exactly.
But if you can actually like really be in your own space and be honest about the things that you like, because again, those representatives, we tell ourselves because we like how it looks.
Yeah.
To say, oh yes, I love doing this kind of thing and I love doing all of that. It just makes me sound like a well-rounded person. Girl, you don't like that. You are lying on your resume. Your dating resume is lies. So I think I'm going to do that more, not wait for friends, because a lot of people are busy and everything sounds great in the future. And then your future self is mad at your past self for setting you up for this commitment. Have you gone through a space of like dating yourself in between, like during your floating period? Like what does dating yourself look like?
For me, I mean, I wouldn't like specifically label it that, but I feel like that's been pretty much my early.
Okay.
This has been dating myself, because, and with dating myself, for me, it doesn't mean that I have to like shun all like going out and dating other people.
Oh, you're just one of the people that
Right.
you're dating.
And a lot of time with myself. Like, I genuinely enjoy my own company. I
Mhm.
can be in my house all day and have the time of my life.
Listen, a whole party, child.
So that's like one of the actual benefits to me of being a late bloomer with dating or, serious relationships is I've had a lot of time with myself, a lot of time to figure out what I like, what I don't like, when somebody's presence is worth being in my space or not. I
Mm.
know what it feels like to enjoy being with myself.
Mm.
And a lot of people that I know who have been in these serious relationships since high school, college, or ended up getting married in their 20s, a lot of them are divorced now.
Yeah.
Like, I could go through my Instagram. Most of these people are not with that person that they ended up marrying or being in a serious relationship with. And I
Yeah.
think a lot of that has to do with people not really taking the time to know themselves and to genuinely just be alone. Like, I actually feel sad for people who have just been in relationships their whole life back to back. And not to say that everyone who's in that situation is unhappy or whatever. I think
Yeah.
people met their match very early and that was their destiny, But there's a huge percentage of people who have never taken that time to really know themselves, to really explore, and they just ended up in this relationship and they're just in it. And
Yeah.
don't even know. It's just like, okay, well, this is all I know, so I'm just gonna go with it. To me, that's
Yeah, because
bad.
they kind of assume that role as their identity
Right, right.
because of either media or cultural expectations, family pressures, religion. There's so many things that impact like your approach to dating or whether you're allowed to date. You're just
Right.
told sometimes that's arranged for you. Whether it's like the formal arrangements or there's just parents that actually kind of curate these things of like, oh, I know this family and they have a son and this, so then now you feel like you have to. But I would say in those relationships where these people they've just met their match, there's still room in that relationship when they evolve together because you still need to have a growing phase.
Exactly. Yeah.
If you are still yourself from 18, you haven't changed and you're approaching 40,
Yeah.
that's a problem because that pot is going to start bubbling and it's going to overboil.
Yeah.
Something's going to happen. And I guess that's when you think back, like the whole midlife crisis was more of a cultural, like in society and in media, like that was always like this person's going through midlife crisis at like 40 to 45. I would say we don't really see that. Or
Yeah.
maybe we're just having our crises early. All of a sudden, you in your 30s buying plants. You ain't never cared about plants before. They usually say that's the indicator, like, oh, she going through something. All of a sudden, her whole living room is plants. I think it looks different because we realize and learn from previous generations, you are very still stuck.
Yeah.
It's not about, oh, this is just who you are and this is who you'll always be. Sure, there's your core self, but there are just certain behaviors, character traits, things that should have evolved.
Right.
Or if you've reached maturity, that should not be a behavior that you exhibit or you accept. But if you are in the space of like being complicit, that is one of my fears is just being stuck.
Right.
Oh my God. Like, no, I need space to grow and move and whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do. So I need to get into my floating. I need to get out. I really do.
Well, I guess it depends on what type
So
of.
I need to find out the hot spots. I'm gonna need to tap in and be like, where are you going? Because y'all always going somewhere fun, and I'm living vicariously through your stories. I'm like, oh, I could have got cute and met up with y'all.
Yeah.
I'm right downtown, so I could have literally. So I need to just tap into your social
Exactly.
calendar and just be like, well, hey, hi, I'm gonna just show up. Okay, so I love that you were dating yourself while you were in your floating phase, dating other people. And I love what I take away from that is that you still prioritized yourself because you knew that you were in school, you like had other things, the bigger picture, you're still working towards it. So you weren't willing to sacrifice those things
Right.
just for feeling that companionship.
Right. Exactly.
Like if it felt right, you made more time available to be with that person. But when it no longer served you, or if it just didn't feel right, you made the decision to, you know what, I'm gonna just do me for a little bit. That's cool. So when you reconnected, like with your person,
Mm-hmm.
what phase were you in during that time?
Yeah, I mean, it was the perfect space, our phase or period of my life because I had reached a point where it's like, okay, I finished grad school. I've been in my career for a while. I got my house. I have my rental like I have the things that I've
Come
been
on, boss.
working for. And like I have the stability, right?
Yeah, that you said that you were always that's a big thing for you
Yeah.
and a non-negotiable.
Yeah, I mean, I was still, yeah, I guess you
Or
could say
towards or
that.
like the towards the end of it because I guess y'all were exclusive, right? Y'all had reached the point of being exclusive before breaking.
Not necessary. I don't know if we were
Okay.
like ever said the words were exclusive. We were
Mm,
just going on
together.
dates, getting to know each other.
Okay.
But it wasn't like we're official or any type of thing like that.
How long was that for?
I
That
mean,
first
probably
time.
a few months. Like,
Okay.
yeah, it wasn't anything serious, even though I felt really good about him and I felt like it was definitely leading there. We weren't there. It wasn't like,
Gotcha.
you know?
Yeah.
But the space I was in at the time we reconnected, like I was ready. I was
Yeah.
ready for a serious relationship. I had just gotten out of a situation. No, it wasn't even a relationship. It was just,
I think they call it a situationship.
I guess, but I wouldn't even call it that, honestly. It was
Okay.
more like this is just someone I like to spend time with, but we're not in any type of,
It's not
relationship.
leading anywhere
We're not right.
promising.
It's not leading anywhere. We just enjoy each other's company.
Okay.
And we had like cut that off. And
Mm,
then I had started talking. It was interesting because when he came back around, I had started going on dates with somebody else, getting to know someone else that I was like, okay, this could be something.
because you were ready for a relationship. So now you were actively dating with the
Right.
intent to be in a long-term relationship.
Exactly. Exactly. And then when he circled back around, or as they say, spinning the block, you know?
Okay. Sometimes remixes are good.
Exactly. Exactly. But yeah, when he messaged me and then when we started talking more, my attention went back, to him. It was like, no, this feels more in the direction that I want to be.
Was it because there was a level of familiarity?
There's that and we just had more in common than the other person. And when I really thought about it, I was like, even though I like this person and they have a lot of the stability and the things that I'm looking for, culturally, we're not like compatible. I don't feel like
Okay.
I would understand this person's family and I don't think they would understand mine.
Yeah, that's
So,
a big thing.
yeah.
Because you have to think of the whole environment, especially if you have a close knit family, you're always around each other. Oh,
Absolutely. Yeah, especially when you're older, because it's like now
absolutely.
you're thinking more about marriage.
Kids and all that.
Right.
Yeah.
Those things are important. So I just, I fell back into like the feelings that I had for him when we initially started talking and everything with us is just very aligned.
So because you guys remixed the record,
Yeah.
how do you, because it didn't end terribly. It was just more
Exactly.
like we were just not in that space. So how do you approach it without bringing up any, if there were any kind of like, I ain't like that when you did that. Like, how do you not bring up, past little things
We
from
did
the
talk
previous
about that.
time? Oh, okay. And
Yeah.
how did you guys approach that? Like moving forward, being like, you know what, we're starting off on a clean slate, or is this like you just kind of pick up where you left off, but catching up to who you are now
Right.
versus where you last were?
Exactly. Yeah, so like I mean that was one of our very early conversations was about what happened, what led to and it was his decision at that time to us to stop talking and yeah, so I brought that up or we had that conversation and I understood and it's not that I didn't understand then. It was like after having the conversation again at that point, I respected him for making that choice. It was the right
Yeah.
choice. And at the time, like, yeah, I was sad about it, but he still did it respectfully. He sat me
Yeah.
down. We had a conversation. There was no ghosting. There was no none of
Yeah.
that, you know? And so I appreciated it more even coming back around, and I was more understanding of like, yeah, that was the right choice. And whatever the situation that was at the time that made that not work was no longer a situation in our present, whatever term.
Yeah.
And he expressed that he actually regretted, you know, he realized like how great of a person what he let go at that. And he had actually gotten married. I didn't mention this. After we whatever separated, went our separate ways, separate lives. During that time period of us not in communication, he had gotten married, moved out of the state. The relationship didn't work out. He was in the process of divorce when we reconnected. So that was also an interesting dynamic. Because if it were anybody else, I probably would have been like, come talk to me when all that paperwork and everything is finalized.
Ink is dried.
And a few months after that.
A little bit of dust has collected on that document, honey.
We had a lot of, you know, conversations about that, and he was very open with me about what was going on, where he was in the process, and blah blah blah. And because I knew him, and because we had that prior, you know,
experience of each other, yeah.
I know his character, I know he is as a person. I was comfortable with us, you know, moving forward at where he was. And the intention when we reconnected wasn't even to be in a relationship. It was just, hey,
like you cool. Like, I miss talking to you.
I miss
Like, let's
talking to you.
Yeah, like
Right.
let's catch up. Like, you were still a cool person.
Exactly.
Like, even though it didn't work out at that time, like, oh yeah, I miss how you been?
That's exactly what it was. It was, hey, I miss talking to you. Obviously, I wasn't gonna talk to you while I was married, or you know. But now that I'm not in this relationship anymore, yeah, I miss talking to you, and that I miss talking to you, and then reconnecting, and then that spiraled into let's be together. You know, this works, and it has.
How long was that period from reconnecting to like, okay, like let's do this? Like, what was that time frame?
I think it was I want to say 2 months, 2 or 3 months, maybe 2 months.
Girl, y'all was caking. Y'all was caking on the phone. 2 months, y'all was catching up quick.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
And that was just how our energy was when we first met. It was like an instant connection.
And if you can have easy flowing conversation and have those deep conversations and be vulnerable and give insight, like if it's not forced or you're trying to defend yourself or like, those are the best kinds of conversations to have.
Exactly.
Because it gives you information for if we ever have a hiccup or something, you're willing to do the work.
Right.
You're willing to have those conversations as uncomfortable or as weird as they feel. But if you feel safe doing that with me, then I feel safe doing that with you. The reciprocity is real.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
And then you being a therapist too. I mean, but you're just a calming presence and you're easy to talk to. But in dating, that's different though, because it's a different intimacy is a very vulnerable space to be in.
Yeah.
And then getting to the physical part, that's the most vulnerable. Like I'm allowing you in my body. We're sharing this energy. And I'm sure that he's done the work to not carry on his divorce or what went wrong in that to this relationship, because there's that aspect too. Because I like you and I remember how it was when we were together, but you've gone through some things like being married and then being divorced. That's a very big adulting experience to have. And if I haven't had that and I don't know that experience, how do we make sure that you're not triggered from that and don't bring that here or projecting? Like you just don't know until you do it. Has he always been about mental health or some kind of healing? Because that's a lot for him to unpack and go through that process, even with you being separated. And I'm sure this is a better question for him, but you know, once you've separated, like you're doing the emotional work to like disconnect and then also try to prepare yourself. And then the whole legal process, like that's like the last thing. But has he always just been, even from like the first time you guys meeting, because he seems to lead a very healthy lifestyle, he does all of that. Has he always been about mental health and wellness as well?
Yeah. So he is a very self-reflective person. When we had conversations about that, and he had expressed to me that he had already done that processing of the
Okay.
separation and everything prior to us reconnecting. And obviously some of that continues as you're going through that divorce
Oh,
process.
yeah.
I can't speak for his,
Oh, yeah. No. Yeah.
with that. I'd rather him share that.
Oh, for sure.
But it was the conversations we had about whatever work he was doing to separate
Yeah.
from that relationship made me feel comfortable enough to move forward. I haven't seen any indications of that
Yeah.
moving into our relationship. It definitely wasn't an easy thing for me,
Yeah.
dating someone who's going through that
It's a
stressful
first.
process of,
Yeah, it's a first.
yeah. But we're so like gone from that, like
Yeah.
that's in the back, and we're just moving forward with life.
Do you think, and a divorce is not a good thing, but did you see the growth in him from like the first time you
Yeah.
guys were together? Like, how has he evolved
Yeah.
since you guys being together?
I think this time around, I've gotten to know him on a much deeper level
Mm,
because, when we were initially dating, it was just that it was just dating. It didn't even,
yeah.
it didn't get that far to where I knew everything about him the first time around.
Yeah.
So this time around, it was more of a in-depth, really getting to know him. Everything about his like character and who he is as a person has remained pretty consistent.
Yeah.
But I know him a whole lot more now compared to the first
Nice.
time. So yeah, that was an interesting dynamic of
Yeah.
right spinning the block and like, okay, who are you now? Who are we now?
And it felt organic. It wasn't because when you got the message, it wasn't like what he want.
Right.
It was more like,
Yeah,
how
it
are
was
you?
everything's been very naturally flowing. Nothing felt forced. Nothing was like, we need to do this, that. It was just, everything was just like a natural progression. Nothing was ever planned. Like I said, we didn't even
Yeah.
on dating when we
Yeah.
connected, and it just kind of naturally progressed there.
How have you evolved from your first relationship?
Oh gosh, a lot. Like, I mean, I was in my 20s then, and
Mhm.
being where I am now, if I look back at that version of myself, I'm a whole lot more self-assured, confident. I know who I am. I know what I want. I know what I will tolerate, what I won't. I have a whole lot more boundaries. And just even my just view of really everything felt so like pressured for me back then. Like, if this doesn't work out, it's going to be the end of the world, or I need to be perfect and I need to show up this way in front of this person's family and friends. And it was just, everything was so much pressure and anxiety. And now I'm just like, hey, I'm just going to show up as myself. If we vibe, we vibe. If we don't, we don't. If I gotta be
Just
around
staying
you, we'll
present.
figure it out. Yeah, just
Yeah.
being present. Yeah, and just being grounded in myself in whatever environment I'm in. Being okay with things not working out, or if I don't feel super close to a particular person, and just kind of,
Yeah.
all right, it is what it is. Um,
Because you've done that self work of loving yourself, dating yourself, getting to know yourself, and being good with who you are,
right, right,
regardless of whatever space. So anything is just in addition to that.
right, exactly.
It just complements it.
So yeah,
That's
definitely a
awesome.
totally different person.
That's good. It's
Mhm.
good to have that evolution and growth, because as annoying and frustrating as those experiences were when you were going through it, when you look back, it was integral. Like, you
Yeah.
needed that in order to build up to where you are now.
Mhm. Yeah.
So do you guys have future talks, or do you
Oh
just
yeah.
not even think of like, you know what, it feels good. I don't want to put any pressure on it. Like,
Oh,
what does that look like now?
we always have, and that's the thing I love about our relationship is like we can have conversations about anything. Nothing feels like pressure. And
Nice.
yeah, we talk about the future all the time, and also okay with like not knowing certain things about the future,
Yeah.
or it's just like, okay, when we get there, we get there, or we'll figure it
I
out.
love that. I love that, having that flexibility and being open
Yeah.
to just going with how things move and go. Like, it's okay to have the future talks and what we would ideally see for ourselves individually and together, like to have those plans, but just know that it doesn't need to be concrete.
Right.
And
Right.
still being willing to, okay, we're just gonna go through the ebbs and flows together. We know what our ultimate goals are, but let's not have any rigidity or put,
Right.
this pressure, because that's a lot for each other.
Yeah. Yeah. I just I don't feel pressed about anything. Sometimes people ask me like, well, do you think you're gonna get married? When are you gonna get married? I don't know. I don't even, for me, I don't know. I just never been that person that's like,
Yeah.
this has to happen at this point. I just want things to.
As long as it feels good. Yeah. I love that. So for the late bloomers listening who maybe don't have as much dating experience or want to get into experiencing dating, what would be some advice that you would give?
I would definitely say first, just even the idea, like being a late bloomer, dating, being able to settle whatever feelings you may have about that in itself. Cause I know for me that, and not everybody feels like that, but that used to bother me that everybody's getting married around me and everybody's dating. And why am I not finding these types of relationships that everybody seems to easily just fall into? So being able to come to a place, appreciate the space that you're in. And this is just, your story doesn't have to look like everybody else. You are on your own path, your own journey, your own timing, and just being able to appreciate that and to appreciate that this is an opportunity. You get the opportunity to connect with yourself, build a relationship with yourself before you have to think about somebody else. And a lot of people who have these serious relationships never got the opportunity to do that. And so you're at an advantage to be able to have that. So definitely just taking that time to really like do your self work, whether that's therapy, journaling, having new experiences, traveling, solo travel, whatever it is, just doing that work to get to know yourself, to connect with yourself, because that's going to help you have like successful dating experiences. And just putting yourself out there, just being open to, like, if you're interested in dating, going out, finding events, social events, speed date. Actually just saw like an advertisement for a speed dating event in Orlando, which is the first that I've seen. I'm so excited for that because I've been saying this for years that Orlando needs to tap into the speed dating, like, arena.
Yeah, for sure.
So anyway, just finding those opportunities to get to know people and taking the pressure out of it. That was something I used to do a lot earlier when I was younger, dating and then having so much like pressure. Like, if this doesn't work out, I'm going to be so sad and disappointed. And instead of walking into these situations, looking at it as, hey, this is an opportunity to meet someone new and to have an experience, whether it's a experience that you want or it's an experience that didn't go as you planned. It's an experience and it's something that you can learn from either way. So just looking at dating as that. And I would say also, like, I said this earlier, that we take a lot of L's in dating. That's just the nature of it. All great people are not great together, and it's okay.
Oh, that was a word.
Yeah, that's something. I had this. My very first podcast episode was like 10 lessons I learned in dating, and that's something I talk about. Things not working out doesn't necessarily mean you're a bad person or they're a bad person. Like, don't take it personal. It just is what it is. That's the nature. That's statistics. Like, everybody you're going to meet is not going to be your forever.
Yeah.
So just taking the pressure out of it. Don't take it personal. Look at these as experiences. These are opportunities to learn. If it works out, great. If it doesn't, learn from it. And yeah. And just, your timing is your timing.
I love that. Thank you so much, Tammy. Let the Bloomies know where they can listen to your podcast.
Yes. So, as I was saying, my podcast is Honest Conversations. If you want to find me on Instagram, You can look up Honest Conversations Pod. And then the link to access my podcast is in the bio. My podcast is also on Apple Podcast is on Spotify. And yeah, definitely check out my episodes. And if you're interested in the one specific to dating, it's the first episode on my podcast. And if you want to connect with me with yoga, my yoga page is tammy.yoga.
Awesome. So please do follow, and I will have links to all of your social media and your events in the description of this episode. So that way the folks can get all the goodness, tap into all this energy. We definitely need it. Thank you so much for being on.
Thank you for having me.
And you're part of the Bloomies now. So, this will not be the last time that you will be on here. We're going to talk about all kinds of juicy stuff in the future, child.
I'm looking forward to it.
Maybe even more specifically about the the dating apps, but because time. But thank you so much for being on. I love it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to the Blooming Lately podcast. All of your listens and all of your support is much appreciated, and I definitely feel the love. Please do follow me on Instagram at Blooming Lately Pod. And again, you can check out the description of this episode and all episodes to get access to the links so you can support and follow any guests that I have on as well. And while you're at it, just leave a little comment, rate the episode, keep the love flowing. Let's keep these blooms blooming. Until next time, I'll talk to you later. Bye.